I read over and over again in your book was
I know what that is.
regarding infidelity. And let me just make this here. You say in your book, there is no history of the black man settling down with one woman and never desiring to have another. Before slavery, during slavery, or after slavery, the black man has never been recorded to have just one woman.
Right. Well, I think there's some actual facts we can look at on that. Monogamy has failed for the white man in America.
But this is like saying it's okay.
It's not me saying it's okay. This is how they're living. I'm giving you the history of what their life is. Black men haven't been waiting on me to tell them it's all right to have more than one woman. Neither have white men. This is just what they do. I'm not talking about fornication and adultery. I'm not talking about one-night stands and running around rampant with other women. That's not the kinds of, when I say more than one woman relationship. I mean that before we came to America, our men had more than one wife and family. And we were satisfied with it because we had not met the monogamy idea. We had not met the American white woman who, insists on certain kinds of values in her man. We had not learned envy and jealousy. All right, after coming here, those kinds of ideas were bred into us because of society and the mores that the Americans made up here. And so then we started to have problems with that. But I think that since it is apparent that most of them, not all of them, it's certainly up to the man, do love more than one woman. I got tons of mail. A lot of black men write and tell me that they have had two women for 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, and they can't even get the women to speak to each other. Sometimes they have two families.
Would I want to talk to a woman who's sharing perhaps the bed and the money and the social life with who I would deem as my man?
If you want to deal in reality, and if you are not insecure, and if you don't think that robs you of something, you would want to know them. If he loves her, you certainly should want to know her.
There are a lot of black women out there who say,
I know they're mad about that idea.
Peace. And y'all bless. Yah is the strong one. The strong one is Yah. I'm so glad I ran across that video. I don't know if somebody just planted that video on my feed or, what the actual deal was on that. But I'm glad they did nonetheless. I've been talking to you guys about plural marriage, on my videos for a long time, okay? So some of the things I say on here are a little suggestive, you're going to have to, forgive me for that, if I say something suggestive, because sometimes I try to just be on level with you guys, okay? I try to, when I come and speak to you on these videos, I try to speak to you like I would speak to you, person to person or eye to eye. We're having a, personal conversation over the phone. I speak to you, from that direction. So, can and should a man have more than one wife? Well, if you go back to Genesis, and I'm talking about before the flood, okay? If you go to Genesis chapter 4, and you go to verse number 19, Lamech was the first man recorded as having more than one wife. And you read that here in verse number 19. Okay? Now this is all the way back to the beginning of the book of Genesis, all the way back to the very beginning. All right? So this is not a new concept. It's just not a Western construct, okay? By Western, I mean, North America, in this northern hemisphere, what they call the West. Okay? And Lamech took unto him 2 wives, all right? 2 wives. The name of one was Adah, and the name of the other was Zillah. Okay? Now this was Lamech. All the way back to the beginning of Genesis. So, this is not a brand new thing. So monogamy, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what was going on with Adam, or what they call Adam. Adam and the race of Adam, Eva was custom made for Adam. Okay, because Adam didn't have a mate at the time. So Yah custom made from his DNA a woman for Adam, because of the, preeminence of Adam. Okay? That's the story on that. All right? But as you can see, Lamech took unto him 2 wives, okay? Adah and Zillah, okay? He took him 2 wives. This is at the very beginning of time, man. So it's not plural marriage is not a new thing, man. It goes on all throughout this book of remembrance. And as I told you, it is a Eastern construct. You go to the African continent, you're going to find that. You go to over to the Middle East, you're going to find that, okay? Only in America do they have it where a man can only marry just one woman, even though most of these men are always cheating anyway. So what really is the point? They're always cheating anyway behind your back for, most of these women's lives anyway. So, and a lot of y'all live all kind of strange lifestyles anyway. Okay? You know what I mean? That will be similar to plural marriage. I'm not going to say what that is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right? So we're not going to get on that. Okay? The key to what's going on with biblical plural marriage is it's done from a righteous perspective, or at least it should be done from that perspective. All right. It's not a matter of having, see what they call a wife right here is really truly a wife. It's not girlfriends. It's like she said, it's not jump offs. It's not one night stands. It's not just, random girls, Once a man takes him a wife, he marries that woman. That is his wife, or those are his wives. Those are his women. But he just sticks to those 1, 2, 3, 4 women. He's not constantly going out having to go cheat and go find different women, for whatever the case is. Because, really, 4 women, if you got 4 wives in your household, that's enough, mushu for anybody. Okay, I'm going to say it like that. That's quite enough. You know what I'm saying? It's women, can be hard to satisfy sometimes. So, each woman has her own little niche. But the key to me saying that is that it's done from a biblical perspective, or at least it's supposed to be done from that way. So as we're traveling back to Israel, as I told some of you women, you're probably going to end up in a situation like that. Now, I know you've been trained all of your life. I know your mother and your father are going to disagree. Okay? Because, I will speak personally. I've approached women with their father and their mother. They vehemently already disagree. Even with my status, they still vehemently disagree. Because they want to see a traditional, American marriage just with one woman. The bad news is we're having to go back home and nation build. You can't build a nation, nor can you build a royal house off of one woman. It would take you too long. Okay, it would take you years to build that, because a woman can only bear once a year, right? 9 months, right? Okay. So with that in mind, you women, if you listen to my voice, you have to get this through your head, okay, about this plural marriage thing. You got to figure out a way to get over it. One thing I do notice is the black woman has the biggest hang up with it. A lot of the other cultures, the white women, the Jewish women, and, European or Asian or Indian, those kind of women, I think a lot of them see that or have seen it, or at least have heard about it, or their fathers have told them about it, from one perspective or another. It's easier for them to kind of, it's easier for them to accept it and get over it. You'll have a few, who not cool with it. But mostly I've noticed that most of their attitudes are different about it. But the black woman, for some reason, the Israelite woman, she's got the biggest hang up. She thinks she needs to be by herself. She's so great. Whatever's between her legs is so great. She needs to be by herself. Well, I can already tell you, it ain't never going to be that great. Why? Because that man usually going to go cheat on you at some point in that relationship. It just happens that way. Now, I'm not saying that men can't, go by the rules of fidelity. Most men can. Okay, most men can go by the rules of fidelity. Some men can't. But like I said, we're going to be counseling these men about their fidelity. And I hope a lot of them will listen to this video about their fidelity as we get ready to travel home. Okay, because they're not supposed to just be going and getting random women, especially if they know Yah, right? They should have read the rules already in the Torah, and they shouldn't be going and getting, random women and just sleeping with them and then, calling it a one-night stand and that's it. Once you lay down with that woman, we understand and know that becomes your wife as Hebrews. Now, if you find, like the Deuteronomy 24 tells you, the divorce decree, go read it yourself. Now, if you find some uncleanness in that woman or something about her that, really, you disagree with, okay, then you can put her away, but you have to write her a divorce certificate, just something basic. Okay, I've been through this. You got to write her a divorce certificate. You give it into her hand. You make it known to her. And that's all you got to do. You send, you guys break up and depart, and that's it. Okay? She don't take 50% of your household and all that, because all that has to go to your son. Okay? So there are a lot of different rules and a lot of different things for you people that you're going to have to get used to whenever we go home. A lot of you women, y'all want to go to Israel, but I don't know if a lot of y'all are really ready in your mind to go to Israel, because you can't go there and remain single forever. Okay? You're going to have to, we're going to advocate that you find you a husband, whether he's got another woman or not. Or if he's got 3 wives already, whatever the case is. We don't want you to be by yourself. We don't want you to be lonely. That's what that Isaiah 4 is talking about. I'll visit that before I go, even though I've visited several times. Like I said, I understand about your parents and all that kind of stuff. They've never heard of these sort of things, right? So when they hear about it, they, like I said, they vehemently disagree. Vehemently disagree. Okay? They vehemently disagree. I've heard that from several, women that I've approached. But, the thing is it's a decision that a woman, if she's marriageable age, it's a decision that she has to make. It's not for the parents to make. The only thing you can do is make them aware of what the situation is. They've even had, different TV series I've seen. But every time they put it on TV, they always do things to make the plural marriage look bad. Because a lot of these people that are doing that, they're not doing it based on a biblical construct. And many of these men, they're not following after God. They're following after their own lust. So you got to, find a man who's following after God, truly following after God. I'm talking about Yah, the Holy One of Israel, the God of Israel. And after the Hebrew Israelite custom and heritage, then you probably won't go, wrong with that. Even though I've heard of different things, some of these men, I've heard some of these men that have, still doing, bad things within those, relationships. But, you have to understand you're going to run into problems. And at the minimum, at the end of the day, if you can't get along, then, you have to separate. Okay? Then he has to follow the protocol in Deuteronomy 24. Okay? He can let you go. You guys can separate. You can go, be another man's wife. Okay? Or be by yourself, however you want to do it. Like I said, for most of you women, you're going to have to get over that with plural marriage, because you're going to see that in vogue and status quo in Israel when we go home. Okay? Like I said, go speak with some of the women in Dimona about it. They're very familiar. Been doing it for 51 years. They know all about it. So what I have in front of me right here is Jacob's family. As you can see, Jacob has what? 4 wives. It took 4 wives to create the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? 4 women. 4 women is how the 12 tribes were created, okay? 4 women, not one, okay? Not one woman, 4 women. So that right there already tells you, the 12 tribes, the most popular story in the Bible, right? The 12 tribes of Israel, made by 4 different women, and even 2 sisters. Raquel and Leah, even though there's a biblical statute against that, right? Jacob wasn't supposed to do that, but it wasn't Jacob's fault because Jacob was tricked. Okay? That's the reason why that came about like that. Okay? So I understand and know that. So, there's a lot for you women to know and learn. I told you to keep listening to my videos and listen to them attentively and have a Bible in front of you. That way you can follow along. You can go to the verse, or, you can go to Google or Wikipedia and look these things up and do your research, man. I'm here to counsel you. I'm here to give you counseling, but, I'm here to teach. But you got to do your own research, man. Okay? So that's how the 12 tribes were made, okay? Jacob had 4 different wives, okay? Period, man. Now dealing with King David, okay? And this is King Solomon, all right? We're dealing with King Solomon. As you can see, King Solomon had a lot of wives, man. They said he had 700 wives. Now, I don't know where he fit 700 wives at, but, whatever, man. I think that might just been some talking. I don't know. That's a lot of wives. 700 wives and 300 concubines, it says. You can see that. Okay, I know it's hard to see on this camera phone, but, that's just what it says. Man, that's a lot, man. That's overkill. Okay? As for King David, okay, we look at his record, you know what I mean? Kind of see what he was doing. Well, he had 8 wives, okay? Tells you right here. Here's all 8 right here. And the popular ones being, Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, Michal, right? Abigail. But King David had 8 wives, but he had 18 children. Look at that. Plus children. Probably some we wouldn't even know about. Okay? It's a lot of children, okay? As I told you, when we get home, we're going to be building a nation again, like almost from scratch. So, you're going to have a lot of wives, you gentlemen. Okay? At least some of us up to 7. Up to 7 wives. You read that in Isaiah chapter 4. You may not have 7 exactly, but it might be 2 or 3 at first. You might add 1 here and there. The only thing I would say was just get with your other wives and, scope out the women, check them out, watch them, make sure they're, they can fit in your family style. They can fit in your family circle. That's what I would do before I would bring her into the household. Okay. All right. So let's go to Isaiah chapter 60. And it shows you right here in the future what's going to happen. Okay. Thy people, talking to the children of Israel, okay, also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified, right? Yah may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation, okay? Yah will hasten it in his time. Talking about the children of Israel, okay? In his time, right? Yah would bring on, okay? Like he's brought on, this is 2020. So Yah has hastened the time. You see how fast years go by now. So Yah has done that. He's hastened the time to what? Bring us back home. And then this is what's going to happen. That a little one will become 1,000. You know what I mean? In other words, you'll have a lot of offspring, a lot of children. All of our women are going to be fruitful. Okay? And they ain't all going to be Israelites. They ain't all going to be black sisters. And maybe, some Jewish women in there. Probably it's going to be some Europeans, maybe some Asians. You know what I mean? Some Pakistan, Indians. It's going to be all kind of people coming to the name of Yah. So they ain't all going to be sisters. You know what I mean? All right? But whatever your preference may be. Because once again, like I told you, it don't matter what woman or Israelite male, black male cohabitates with, because the children always come out still black. All right? All right. So it's going to be an interesting time, as I told you all, okay? So you women, you don't have to be that intimidated by these things, hearing about it, okay? Plural marriage construct I just showed you over in Genesis it's been there from the very beginning. Lamech took 2 wives in Genesis, okay? Because they try to go to Adam and read what was going on with Adam. No, that doesn't justify anything. Lamech took 2 wives. So plural marriage has always been there from the start, okay? In other words, God, Yah, the king of Israel, doesn't mind that you take on more than one woman. Okay? There's just laws and statutes for you to take her on. You can't let her, her food and her, her duty of marriage, it can't diminish. In other words, whatever standard she's used to living on, you have to be able to live up to that with your cash. Okay, that's what I'm saying to these men. So men, don't get a whole lot of wives because, man, you don't want to get a whole bunch of wives and go broke. Okay, trying to take care of, 7 wives. So if your cash flow when you get back to Israel is not up to standard for 4 wives or 7 wives, then just kind of chill with 1 or 2 for at first until you build some cash flow. When you build some positive cash flow, then you can add to your wives. But please do one thing. Always do this. Always check with your other wives, okay? And make sure you get you some good wives and that they all gel, okay? That was one thing I advocated on my last video. I said, hey, if you know you're going to be sister wives, then really, man, you got to be talking right now. You got to be talking back and forth. You got to be communicating, okay? You should be communicating already because, ain't no need to wait until you get back to Israel start communicating. That's going to be drama. You know what I mean? Isaiah chapter 4, right? Been here a million times, right? And in that day, that means in the future, right? 7 women shall take hold of 1 man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, right? Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So in other words, they want a husband. Because they done came to the land, they seeing all these women running around happy, having good sex. You know what I'm saying? They like, dang, man, I want a husband. Because, when you get to Israel, you can't just do no one-night stands and jump-offs. You lay with a woman, that's your wife, man. We want to get that concept understood up front. That's why the Most High has me telling you about it, okay? All right? Got to get that understood, man. Okay, when you lay down with a woman in Israel, that's your wife, man. She's considered your wife. Okay, like I said, naturally, your mothers and fathers, when they hear about these things, okay, the prince wants to marry you. Okay, cool, but he has these other wives too. They're going to be like, what? Oh my God, he's got 2 other wives or 4 other wives. No, you can't marry him. Don't marry him. That's a horrible idea. That's what they're going to tell you. No, it's a great idea. Okay, because your life's gonna be saved here, getting out of America instead of getting destroyed by the Medes. Okay, when they come up on y'all's borders one of these days. So no, it's a great idea. Okay, that maybe their lives may be saved. See, they're not seeing it right because they don't read the Bible. Okay, they don't read the Book of Remembrance, the Old Testament. So they don't know how this thing's really going to go down. What's written at NT, that ain't how this thing's going to go down. Okay. But let me get back to it. So that's what the actual real problem is. You know what I mean? And talking to my Israelite sisters, a lot of y'all problem is y'all don't want to share a man. You know what I mean? That's it. You don't want to share that dingling. I was going to say what it is. You don't want to share that dingling. So that's the problem. And that really is actually the only problem. It's not the love thing. It's the dingling thing. It's not the love that the women are afraid to share. It's they don't want to share the sex part. That's the actual real problem. But you got to learn how to get over that. Like I said, the man will have a schedule, If he got 4 wives, then he'll have a schedule, a weekly schedule, He'll deal with each wife, 1 on each day, from a full-on sexual perspective, I'm saying, okay? So y'all are one big happy family and unit, and you got to get used to that concept of being a family. Because that's why I'm telling these sister wives, if you know you're going to be sister wives, well, you should be acting like it right now. You should be communicating the same way you would communicate if you was right in front of each other. You know what I mean? Okay, get used to each other. Get used to talking, because when you first step off that plane, that's going to be chaos. Some of these women who've never talked before, that's going to be some chaos. Flavor Flav, right? So, and I just try to be frank with you guys and talk to you like an adult, okay? Adult to adult, okay? This lesson's not for your children, so don't let them hear this, all right? It's rated R, okay? So listen, but be wise in what you're doing, ladies, okay? And for the men, you have to take care of these women, okay? You're going to have to take care of these women the same way they're going to take care of you when you go in that bedroom, Okay? Well, you in turn got to make sure you don't diminish their lifestyle. So whatever lifestyle they're used to, you're not supposed to diminish that. You got to keep it up on a certain level, okay, from wherever that woman came from, okay? So if she came from a lot of money, well, it's going to take a lot of money to take care of her, okay? If she came from opulence, well, she gonna expect some opulence. So you got to have a big house, lots of room in it, like I've told you guys in my other videos, okay? So make sure you don't diminish their duty of marriage and their food and their raiment. You know what I mean? They got to be well taken care of. And they will be well taken care of. You know, when God gives us our double portion, like I said, of land and animals and things like that. Because real true riches is based on land and animals, man. It's not based in paper dollars, really. Okay, but we need paper dollars too. Credit, etc., right? All right. But this is going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, it may not be this way when we first get there, but it's going to happen, man, without a doubt. You can believe it. You can believe it. It's going to happen, okay? So that's the real thing with plural marriage. Like I said, once you bring these matters up to your mom and your dad, they're going to deny you. They're going to think you crazy. Oh, you're going into a cult and all that type of talk. They're going to tell you, oh, it's like the people in Utah. You know what I mean? So, no, the Hebrew Israelite construct's totally different from what they do in Mormonism. Okay, they ain't nothing like that. You know, we serve Yah, the Holy One of Israel, the God of Israel. We don't play around like that with all that mind control, and all them kind of mechanisms that they do in Utah that I've heard about. Some of those men. Okay, because the white man abuses that plural marriage too. It ain't just black men now. White men cheat, Asian men cheat. The Indian men cheat. All men cheat basically, but. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. So black men cheat, et cetera, et cetera. But, now I'm not saying plural marriage is the answer to cheating. You know what I mean? A man got to get some discipline about himself and know how to discipline himself, whether he's in a plural marriage or not. Okay? I'm not saying it's the answer to that, okay? But once the true answer is once he gets those wives, he going to have to stick to those wives, just like Jacob did. Jacob stuck to these 4 right here. Okay? Stuck to these 4 wives. King David, he stuck to his 8 wives. He wasn't going out and keep adding wives. Okay? And as for the king, when you read Deuteronomy chapter 17, Deuteronomy 17, the king, he can't do that. He can't just keep going out getting wives, adding wives to his harem. Like you seen with King Solomon, 700 wives. I mean, that's ridiculous, man. Okay? Because then women have all kind of wild requests. Okay? All right. Now, people will say, well, why 7 women to 1 man? Because when you read right here, when the Most High judges the earth, daughter of Babylon especially, okay? Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore, check it out, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. That's the answer to your question. It's going to be few men left. Few men left. That's the reason why it's going to be 7 wives to every 1 man. And they like, yo, I'm not running around here not having no husband because I want to have sex like all the rest of the women want to have sex. Okay? And I mean, in that day, I guess the way it would end up would be, hey, look, it'd be better for you to go into a plural marriage than have to be abstinent. you know what I'm saying? It's better to get some sex than no sex. I mean, you just gotta wait for your date. You know what I mean? So now he's still gonna give you basic affection every day, like he would do, just any woman. But the key is that, you know what I mean? It's very important that you get to understanding these concepts right now. That's the key to it. Okay, like I said, you're gonna tell your mom and your daddy, they're gonna call you crazy. They're gonna say, no, don't do that. You know what I mean? Because of their misunderstanding, okay? Because they're thinking in the Western, construct of marriage, 1 man, 1 woman. But the Eastern thought or the Eastern protocol for marriage, it can be multiple women. And that's in Pakistan, Afghanistan, that's in Africa, that's in the Mideast, that's all over the East, what they call the Mideast. Okay, and also in Europe too. Russia, places like that, man, men do this all the time. And if they ain't doing it, if they marry one wife, usually out cheating. Now I know a lot of you women can attest to that. Okay, I know y'all can attest to that. A lot of y'all done caught y'all man cheating, so it ain't nothing new. So they doing it anyway. It doesn't matter what color the man is, they're doing it anyway. Okay, like I said, I'm not saying plural marriage is the answer to that, right? Okay, but what I am saying is that it needs to be done by the Bible and done biblically. Okay, so a man can have more than one wife. All right, women. Like I said, a lot of y'all don't want to share that ding-a-ling, so you don't want to have nothing to do with no plural marriage because of that, only just that one fact. Okay? Because when a man loves a woman, like I said, he loves each woman differently. He don't try to find the same things inside of each woman. He tries to find, surely he finds different things about each woman. Okay? All right. So that's for you guys to think about. So if your sister wives, like I said, get a hold of each other, man. Start talking now. Start talking it out, man. If you got some differences, you need to talk it out now. Why not, right? Get to know each other right now. If you know you're going to be sister wives. Why not? What's the point in fronting? Or what's the point in waiting if you already know? Right? Right. That's easy to do. Pick up the phone. Hey, what's up, sister? What's up? You know what I mean? Okay, we both love the same man, so, hey, we might as well get to know each other. Simple as that. All right? All right. So that's Biblical Construct 101, Plural Marriage 101. You're hearing it from a good authority, okay? So you don't get all these different points of view from everybody. But on the video earlier, what the woman said was correct, okay? We ain't never heard of not having one wife. When we got over here in slavery, that's whenever they started, impressing that upon us, that European construct of having, one wife. Okay? That's when all that happened, because that does what? It controls population. Look what happened in China. Now they have a population decrease because they had like one child or two children you can only have, minimum you could have. Now guess what? Now they need people over there in China. They got a schism going on with that. Now they need people. Very stupid. Anyway, that construct is, okay? So peace, y'all bless.